it's your heart, and welcome back to my channel, to the Witchy Reader. So, today we are going to do 5-star predictions, which is a video I've been meaning to do for a couple weeks. I kept saying I'll do it, but then I kept forgetting or pushing it off. Because I still was only halfway done with the research of what books I own. I think that it's even going to be 5 stars. But I finally finished it, and I'm here to do the video. So these are just books that I own. So they're not everything that's on my TBR that's on my want to read on Goodreads. Just the books I want to own. There's one book that I made an exception for, but it's because it's part of a series that I just haven't gotten to own that particular book in the series yet. But so yeah, I'm very excited to talk about the books. I hope will be 5 stars. I mean, even if these aren't 5 stars, they'll probably end up being 4 stars because 98% of what I read is 4 or 5 stars. The other 2% will be like 3 stars. Like I very rarely ever rate anything 1 or 2 stars. Because I have a system. I know what I like, so I stay in my little bubble of what I like. I mostly read fantasy, and this is those few times I go outside of fantasy, but I know what I like, so I read something and it sounds like something in my area of expertise, something that I will enjoy. I end up reading it because it sounds really interesting, and usually I'm right, and I end up really liking it. I just have good instincts. I just know myself and know what I like and don't like, so I stay in that bubble, the fantasy bubble. But yeah, let's get started I will be doing a vlog of what books I think will be 5 stars once I actually start reading some of these, which I don't know what that will be. I do want it to be this year, so this vlog might be several months before that vlog actually comes out. But yeah, or I might just do a video after I read all these books and be like, was this a 5-star read? Yes or no. Yeah, I'll probably end up just doing that. But yeah, and I'll explain why I think they're going to be 5 stars, and let's get started. So I'm starting with a book that I'll probably get yelled at in the comments for not having read it yet, because I feel like most people, at least my age, have read it when they were younger in childhood, because it's pretty popular. Me, I have not. I did start it in elementary school. I think I read the first 2 books, but I never finished it, and it's not even because I wasn't enjoying it. I hardly remember it, but I don't think I, didn't like it or anything. I just stopped picking it up, which was very unlike me, which is still very unlike me. But I'm going to give it another try and see if I enjoy it, and I've gotten really in the mood for it lately, so I might actually end up reading this next month. Seriously. Because I've been really in the mood to finally read this, and that is Percy Jackson. Now, I don't have Heroes of Olympus on this video. I own that too, and it's not even because I don't think I'm going to end up enjoying it. It's just I feel like it'll end up being more of a 4-star read for me, but I might be wrong. Who knows? I hope I'm wrong. But Percy Jackson, there's 5 books in the series. This is book 1. I have seen the movies, but I've been told they're like nothing like it. And there's this one YouTuber, Movie Flame. You should all follow him if you have not yet. He does videos for a lot of different fandoms, book related or some TV related, like he does some Avatar and Legend of Korra books or videos. He does mostly Harry Potter because Harry Potter is just awesome. But he's done a few Percy Jackson. He actually read them pretty recently-ish, or whatever, recently too, when he made those videos I watched. I don't know when he made those videos. But he did 2 whole videos on everything they did wrong in the movies, and yeah, and I can see why the movies are really hated. But I'm really excited to finally there's something in here. I got this on Thrift Books. I don't think I've even opened it since I bought it. But yeah, I'm excited to finally read this because it's very different than the movies, so I've been told, and I'm very excited to finally read it and see, because everyone loves it, and I do. But that isn't why I want to read it. Just because I don't read things that everybody loves. If I end up reading it, and a lot of people love it, it's just because I also thought it would be interesting. I love love god and goddess things and Greek mythology. My favorite goddess has always been Athena. My favorite god is Ares. So yeah, I'm excited to read this series, and I think it'll be 5 stars just because I'm really big into mythology and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this up, which will probably be next month. I might be wrong, but I have been in the mood to read it since I was watching some movie flame videos where he was talking about Percy Jackson. So I also have the Rise of Kyoshi because now for this book I am 110% biased, and that's completely why I chose this as a potential 5-star read, because I'm just in love with the TV show so much. I'm 110% biased, and I will openly admit that. Kyoshi, from the avatars we know of, Kyoshi's probably my 3rd favorite. Aang and Korra are like the number 2, obviously. But I really enjoy the backstory we do give Kyoshi in the shows, and she's a lesbian, so there's that to love too. A fantasy LGBTQ story, which is awesome because one of my goals this year was to read more fantasy LGBTQIA plus books, because I haven't read nearly enough, because if they're hard to find, I find them hard to find. Maybe I'm just wrong and looking in all the wrong places. I don't know, but I don't want it to be fantasy romance either. I just want it to be strictly fantasy that has some LGBT, like, I don't read fantasy romance. I read fantasy with, and then yeah, there's gonna be a little romance in there, but that's definitely a side plot. But yeah, maybe it's because I just don't like pure romance. But there's 2 books in this. I only own the first one, sadly. I probably will wait till I buy the second one. Just because I like to have all the books that are at least out when I start a series. But if I get really in the mood for it, maybe I will go ahead and read it. It just depends. But I'm excited to finally read this, just because I love Avatar so much, and I'm so excited to get a fleshed out story of Kyoshi. I think it'll be a lot of fun to read, especially since she can be a bit crazy. Let's be real. At least from what we know from the show, she seems a bit crazy, but in a good way. So I also have Charmed. There's like 41 or 42 books in this series, and I own like all except for like I think the last 2 of them, the last 2 I think. Just because these books are so hard to find, and when you can't find them, they're like $50 a piece. I'm like, what? It took me a while. I found some cheap versions. Obviously, the other 2 I cannot find cheap versions for at all. So that's fun. But the first 10 in this series has Prue in it, and then the rest has Paige, because Paige was on longer than Prue, considering Prue died. But I am so excited to finally read these, because they're such quick reads. As you can tell, they're tiny as heck. Probably the tiniest books I've ever owned. But I just love Charmed so much, and I'm especially excited for the ones that are centered around Piper, because Piper is everything. Piper is my one true love. I love Piper. She's awesome. My favorite character by far, but Phoebe is second. But I'm just so excited to read these books, because I love Charmed, and it's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. It's one of the first TV shows, one of the first adult TV shows that I watched and got into, and it's probably that alongside Buffy would be the 2 shows that I've seen the most of, no doubt in my mind. I've been watching those since probably I was a baby, and I'm probably not even exaggerating. Seriously, I've been watching, even though they came out before I was born. I've been watching them my entire life because my mom was into them, and my aunt So yeah, I'm heavy into the shows, and I think I'll like the books just as well. And if I don't, then I'll be very disappointed. And then I also have Warriors, and Survivors and Bravelands, but I don't have bookshelves right now, and so they're all my books are all in tubs, and I have like all my Aaron Hunters in this one tub, and it's kind of overflowing, so I have a lot of Aaron Hunter books. My Seekers and Warrior books are on top. So my Survivors and Braveland books are at the very bottom, and I did not want to dig out through all those books, so I did not grab them. But I have all three of them on this list: Warriors, Survivors, and Bravelands. Warriors is about cats, as you can tell. Survivors, dogs. Bravelands, lion, elephant, and baboon, I believe. So yeah, I just love Aaron Hunter's writing so much, and I technically I did start Warriors back in high school. I was borrowing my friend's copy of her book when we were still living in the same state, and I read 13 of the books. I read the first arc, which is 6 books, second arc, which is also 6 books, and then the first super edition. But, then I moved to Illinois and never finished, so I couldn't borrow her copies anymore, and I just never continued. But then I finally bought the books last year because I wanted to finally read all of Aaron Hunter's books because I love her writing so much from what I've seen of it. And I mean, Secrets is one of my favorite books, series of all time, and I don't like Warriors as much as Seekers, and I don't think I like Survivors and Bravelands as much as Seekers, but I do still think they'll end up being 5 stars because I love Aaron Hunter's writing, and I've already liked some of the characters I remember from when I was reading it, and yeah, so I'm just very excited to finally read all of Aaron Hunter's books, which I plan to do this year. I might read Survivors and Bravelands first just because there's so many Warriors books, and it'll be easier to get through Survivors and Bravelands before I get through Warriors. But we'll see. It also depends on what mood I'm in. Maybe I'm in the mood to read Warriors. Better get the long series done first anyways, right? And then I have Ash Princess. This is a series that I've owned for a long time. It's a series that I have been wanting to read for a very long time. Alyssa has actually read them. She actually borrowed my first 2 copies, and then I moved, and she ended up buying. And then I think she just read the 3rd copy when she came to live with me. She finally read the 3rd book. Because I think
the 2nd and 3rd. Because I bought the first one.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so she really enjoys it, and I think I will too. Obviously, I bought it for a reason, but it just sounds very interesting. And I'm a sucker for fantasy, let's be honest. There's very few fantasies I probably rated less than 3 stars. There's probably very few fantasies I even rated 3 stars. So I am very optimistic about this. And it says, under the summary with a few reviews, it says, tense and imaginative with a smart feminist twist. And when I see the word feminist, I get hooked, like, immediately. No joke. I'm a feminist, and I love reading or watching feminist characters because I just feel like we don't really get enough. I like writing feminist characters because I am a feminist myself, and I like feminists. So, the fact that it says feminist twist just hooks me right away. But yeah, I'm very excited to finally read this trilogy. First one is Ash Smoke, then Lady Smoke. No, Ash Princess, then Lady Smoke. Oh my gosh. So Ash Princess, Lady Smoke, then Ember Queen, right? That's the book? Okay. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one. And then An Ember and the Ashes, which is also a book I've owned for a very long time. I own the old covers, and I feel like a lot of people will be like, oh, those are the old covers. Actually, with the rest of the series, I own the new covers because I bought them just last year. This one I've owned for years. But I don't really care that they're mismatched because I don't really care about covers. I'm probably the only booktuber that doesn't, but oh well. But yeah, this is also something I've been wanting to read for a long time, and I'm very excited to finally get to it. It just seems really interesting, and like I said, I'm a sucker for fantasy. Um, Leia, however you pronounce her name, is a slave. Elias is a soldier. Neither is free. that's that's an attention grabber. One of your main characters is a slave. Way to start out a story. Starts out with tragedy. Why not? I have no room to speak. I do the same thing with my characters half the time. Moving on.
Ew.
Moving on. But I'm very excited to finally get this. I did hear someone mention a love triangle in it recently, which has kind of made me a little bit more nervous because love triangles is a big, huge turn away for me. But I've been so excited for this book for so long. I'm not gonna let a little love triangle stop me from hopefully enjoying this, and hopefully the love triangle doesn't dominate the story or anything like in Twilight. I didn't like that story anyways, period. Love triangle or not, but still. Or the Vampire Diaries. I liked Vampire Diaries. Not too fond of the whole love triangle. Of course, I hated Damon and didn't like Elena, so I'm probably the only person. Well, I feel like there's an average amount of people who don't like Elena, but I feel like the entire fan base is in love with Damon, and I cannot stand him. I want to punch him in the throat every time he speaks. Every time he's on screen, I want to punch him. So yeah, moving on from that violent turn of events. But yeah, I'm excited to finally get to this series as well. There's 4, and I'm pretty sure the 4th book just came out like last year or the year before. It's been pretty recent-ish. So yeah. And then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Okay. This is the only fantasy series I have on my list. Or non-fantasy series. Because, of course, all these are going to be fantasy. A non-fantasy. But, honestly, I was a little hesitant on putting it on. Because I'm also trying to be realistic and not just get my hopes up because I hope these all will be 5 stars. But, honestly, I mean, fantasy is my favorite, but I do like a good mystery. I feel like it can be so intriguing. But I don't actually watch much fantasy, and I don't read fantasy at all. This will be my first fantasy book. But I am currently rewatching. I just started rewatching it today. Pretty Little Liars, which is an amazing TV show. Not a fan of the books actually, but it's an amazing TV show. I love it so much. And I finally get to rewatch it because I got HBO Max, and I haven't been able to rewatch it since they took off Netflix ages ago. And now I'm kind of in a mystery mood, so I might be a little bit biased just because I love Pretty Little Liars so much, and I hope this is as good. But I love a good mystery, and it does sound really good. There's 3 books. I only own the first one. The 3rd book, I'm pretty sure, just came out last year as well. So I'm excited to get the other 3 books. I wonder how, because when I first heard about this, only the first book was out, and I'm pretty sure it was. At least I thought it was going to end up being a standalone, just because I didn't think they could turn this into a trilogy, but they have, and I'm excited to read it. I think I will love it because a good mystery really captures my attention. Just look at Pretty Little Liars. I stayed with that for 7 years as they tried to uncover A, as I tried to uncover A and failed miserably because I don't think any of the A's I really suspected. I mean, even if they were like suspicious, it's like there were other characters that were more suspicious, or they made it too obvious. Kind of like Scream, the first Scream. It was obvious that it was Billy Loomis. They kept pointing fingers at Billy Loomis, so it couldn't be Billy Loomis. But guess what? It was Billy Loomis. But yeah, this just sounds really good. It says a pretty and popular high school senior, Andy Bell, was murdered by her boyfriend Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It was all anyone could talk about. And 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. Now senior herself, Pip decides to re-examine the closed case for her final project. At first, just to cast doubt on the original investigation, but soon she discovers a trail of dark secrets that might actually prove Sal innocent. And the line between past and present begins to blur. Someone in Fairview doesn't want Pip digging around for answers, and now her own life might be in danger. Dun dun dun. I love a good mystery. So I'm excited, and I actually think this will be 5 stars, and I really hope it is. I hope it's as good as I'm hoping it to be. And then my last book, no, okay, 2 more books. So this one I don't actually own at the moment. It's one book for book. Let me try that again. Shut up. It's one of the first books I plan on buying once I have money, and that is the third book in A Daughter's Ransom series. The third book just came out January 4th of this year, and I haven't been able to buy it yet. Sadly, the first 2 books I rated 5 stars, and I'm very excited for this one, like very very excited. And I have this strong feeling it's gonna end up being 5 stars. It's an indie book, meaning self-published, and it's just so good. Anyways, so another indie book, the last book, is Warriors of Briar. So Alyssa's currently reading it, and she's loving it, and I plan on reading it too. The third book came out recently. There's going to be 5. I know the author. She does some writing sprints with me and Robin every Monday when we do our sprints. So you should come and join us and get some writing done, or reading if you don't write. But yeah, and but I have high hopes for this book. It sounds really interesting, and like I said, this is another indie series. So but I'm very very excited for it. It says, Lauren Strauss's life is a web of mysteries. Her father is dead. Her mother's past is a fiercely guarded secret. She hardly knows anything about these strange dreams and headaches which have plagued her since birth. On the day of her college graduation, she thinks she may start to get some answers. But when a violent attack rocks downtown Chicago, Lauren's life is thrown into chaos. Her mother arms her with a mysterious amulet, and Lauren is thrust into a strange new world. She soon realizes that the truth about her family is more than she ever could have imagined. Lost in a land beyond her wildest dreams and hunted by a bloodthirsty cult, Laura must discover the truth about herself, and with it, embrace a destiny she didn't even know she had. Intriguing, right? But yeah, I'm very excited about this, and the author is really nice, and I'm just excited for it, and I think it'll be 5 stars, and if it's not, I'll be very disappointed, I'll be disappointed if any of these aren't 5 stars. But even if they're not, I'm positive they'll at least be 4 stars. Like I said, I stay in my little fantasy bubble here, and most of what I read is 4 or 5 stars. So I don't think any of these will even be 3 stars, let alone 1 or 2. But I still think they're going to be 5 stars. I hope they are, and I will definitely make a video once I read all of these and let you know if they ended up being 5 stars or not. Yeah, so I will talk to you. So please like and subscribe and comment your 5-star predictions, and if you've read any of these, and if you think I'll enjoy any of these, and we will talk later. Until next time.